Going on YouTube, Cloverbells here back with another Scarlet Violet video, and today we're going to be talking about double dragon cores that you can use right now in Regulation H. So the double dragon archetype itself has been very strong right now. It has done well in the regionals, it has done well in All Unlimited stores, it's done well everywhere, and there's a reason for that. The double dragons have great synergy with each other. They have good abilities, they have great damage, they have good speed tiers. And just overall, even though that they have some of the same weaknesses, you can kind of get away with pairing them together because you have Terrestrialization in Scarlet and Violet. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the common pairings of some of these double dragon ideas, because it's not just one kind of pairing, there's actually a few of them, and I've got them on my screen right here. And what we're going to do is look at them as a pair and then flesh out the rest of the team as far as like something that you can try yourself if you want to explore double dragons. And as we head closer into Louisville this upcoming weekend, expect to see double dragon core teams. And if you want to play a team at Louisville, you can definitely consider one of these teams because it is a strong archetype overall. And of course, the way that you can really play them has a lot of flexibility depending on the options that you want to do with them. Okay, so without further ado, let's look at our first pairing and let's look at some teams with them. All right, so the first pair that I do want to look at is Dragonite and Garchomp together. So I would say of the 5 pairs that I showed on the screen prior, I would say this is the most common pairing and probably the strongest, arguably, right? You can make a case for all of them, but this is definitely the most common in terms of usage. And just to show you how they work, of course, when you have Garchomp, you have access to Earthquake, and Earthquake has really good synergy with flying types in general. So think about like, Murkrow, think about Talonflame and stuff. But Dragonite also falls into that category because Dragonite is also a flying type at the end of the day, right? So you can technically still Earthquake next to Dragonite, and then Dragonite can just do single target damage, just in case things don't drop immediately to the Garchomp Earthquake. So then from here, even though you're both like Dragon Flying and Dragon Ground, you have 4 times weakness to Ice, but there's not really that much Ice coverage going on right now. There is a little bit of Ninetales, which is why Ninetales is really good right now. But besides that, there isn't really that much going out. And then at the same time, you are weak to Fairies with these two. But again, this is why you have Terrestrialization available to you. Again, Dragonite usually likes to go with Terra Flying with the Chomp here. And then even Garchomp itself will either more commonly go for Terra Fire or even Terra Steel in some cases, right? But this is the idea. So if we just head into Lab Mouse here, we can kind of see some common pairings with these two. But of course, the most common one is the Paul Chua team from Baltimore Regionals. Everyone's been using this, at least in some shape or form. It's just so good and really, really strong. So this is Life Orb Garchomp, right? Let me just make this a little bit bigger, right? So you have Life Orb Garchomp doing lots of damage, big Earthquake damage next to Dragonite. And the Dragonite is a multi-scale set over here. So again, you can take one big hit with the multi-scale, lift the tail to tail, and then get off like a key attack with Terra Blast or even the Extreme Seed or something even like a low click, right? And then after that, you might say, oh, well, maybe I can just intimidate the Garchomp because it doesn't have a clear amulet anymore. But you have to kind of think about that, because if they have the Kingambit out with the Garchomp, then you just give the Kingambit a boost, and now all of a sudden the Kingambit becomes more of a threat as opposed to the Garchomp itself. Then you have Ninetales over here. Again, that's just like mainly for weather control against like Pelipper, Torkoal stuff. And then you have the defensive backbone of Incineroar and Amoonguss. So you have Fake Out, Intimidate, Redirection Support, and then you also have, damage mitigation, with more Parting Shot. Along with the Intimidate support, you can also do Knockoff to remove key items. You have Status with Spore. Lots of things coming out with Amoonguss here. And what's really cool with Clear Smog is even if you compare this with Garchomp, if you Intimidate the Chomp, you can Clear Smog yourself and remove those Intimidate reductions anyway. So definitely be prepared to see this coming into Louisville. And again, it's just one of the more stronger 6 right now. We also have a pretty cool team with Garchomp and Dragonite itself. This is one of our rentals that we put out. So if you want the rentals for this, so like here's the full EV spread, but if you want the rental code for this, go back a couple videos and grab the rental. One of our viewers, Philip, who we've been coaching for a hot minute, has always done well in his locals and with our teams, and he just took this team and he got top 8 with it. So we're gonna showcase it really, really soon. But again, what we've come up with here is, again, the standard Garchomp Dragonite set over here. It is Inner Focus Chomp, Inner Focus Dragonite as opposed to multi-scale. But again, you have cool moves here with Ice Spinner for removing terrain against the Indeedis and the Rillabooms running around. And this is also going to be important for Misty Terrain because that is a rising tech as of late. With so much dragon stuff coming out and so much status inflictions coming out from like Sneaslers. So like Misty Terrain is very important. So to be able to remove that is quite important. And then after this, we have some cool options with Sinistcha and Primarina over here. So Sinistcha, again, giving you speed control, not only against Trick Room teams, but also the Tailwind stuff. And then just being able to support these cores already is like really, really good. And then Primarina just rounds out the squad. Just good fairy damage with haze support. Again, if you want to try it, just go ahead and grab the rental. But there's other ways to use this, okay? So if I just keep scrolling down here, there's actually some other stuff that you can consider besides just using the Chomp Dragonite, Kingambit Amoonguss core. Like, for example, even this one right here, 8-2, just is like a more hyper-offensive way where you can just run Whimsicott Tailwind support, and then you can also just run like Goldengo stuff here. So this is a little bit more aggressive, but still you have the same kind of core over here. So you could definitely do something like that. You can also just do coaching Sneasler stuff. Like if I want to click Night Flash's team over here. So like, look at this, right? So this is coaching Sneasler with Kingambit. This is Dragonite Garchomp. We also have that as well if you look at our rental. And then you just support this with like Magmar and Primarina. So overall, I think it's a very, very good duo. Lots of different ways to use it, but you can kind of see as you scroll down, it's just mostly like the Palchua team. But you can definitely use this in terms of like, a dominant starting point and then just surround it with like basic pieces. Like here's another one, right, from Mr. Chef Rich. So he still has Chomp D9. There's the Talonflame over there, like we mentioned, and Goldengo. This 4 is always going to be like relatively solid. And then after this, you can kind of just pick and choose your last 2 slots. They opted for Decidueye Haze as opposed to a Primarina. And then here's the Basculegion with the Focus Sash set over here. And then the Trick Goldengo stuff is nice into the Trick Room stuff, right? So you can definitely look at it like that. I have seen also this variant, which is more recent from Dortmund, of course, with the Vivian stuff. Again, here's the Talonflame Goldengo idea that we just showed. And then instead of something like an Amoonguss, then you have the Vivian over here, redirection support, Sleep Powder, Hurricane. Again, it's annoying, so you have to kind of deal with that. But you can even just do something like this, right? So again, lots of different cores that you can use with D-Knight and Chomp. We showed you a whole bunch. So hopefully you use one of them and you take it to Louisville if that is in fact where you are going. All right, so let's move on to the next duo. Actually, I lied. You know what? I'm in a bit of a building mood, and I kind of want to just give you another kind of Garchomp Dragonite team that you could even consider besides the cores that I showed you and besides the rental that we put out. So we'll keep it like this. So Garchomp Dragonite here, and we'll still build with Talonflame and Goldengo. So I always like this core. And then after that, you can just go with Amoonguss and the Primarina. So Dragon, Fairy, Steel, Fire, Water, Grass core. You already know how I like to build my team, right? So with Chomp here, I'm going to go with Clear Amulet set over here. And then the Goldengo, I'm going to put the Life Orb here with the Nasty Plot setup because I have the Amoonguss at the end of the day. So I can always afford to try and set it up. Then after this, again, Earthquake, Dragon Claw, Stomping Tantrum, okay, and then Protect over here. That's Dragon Breath. I'm just going to fix that real quick. Dragon Claw. So you can do this, and then Dragonite over here. Again, you can just do like a band set. You can do an Assault Vest set. It just really depends on what you want to do. Let's just give you a choice band set, okay? So you can do a band set, again, Outrage, Extreme Speed. You can do Ice Spinner, and then you can still do something like Stomping Tantrum too, right? So you can still give yourself some good solid ground coverage. The Talonflame, and by the way, if you still want Assault Vest at the end of the day, you can definitely do like Assault Vest D-Knight if you don't want the band set. But Talonflame here, so you can do Covert Cloak stuff, with the Gale Wings. You can even do like Safety Goggles Talonflame if you really want to, but again, Covert Cloak is still like pretty solid. We'll still go Terra Ghost, of course. And then here we go. We got Tailwind, we got Will-O-Wisp, Brave Bird, and we got Taunt, right? So damage mitigation and status. Goldengo, of course, Make It Rain and Shadow Ball are your 2 go-tos. Those are your 2 stat moves. And then we have Protect over here. Let's also go Terra Dragon for some resistance. The Amoonguss here, let's go Terra Fairy. So this way we can redirect other dragon moves away from our Garchomp and our Dragonite. Regenerator, of course, let's put the Citrus Berry on this thing. You can also do Rocky Helmet if you like. Either way, it's still like totally fine no matter what you do. Rage Powder, Spore, Pollen Puff, and then you can do Clear Smog over here. All right, so you can also just consider it like that. Now, if you want to also put Life Orb on the Chomp and then just go like Terra Steel, Choice Specs Goldango, you can definitely do that. But I still like playing it like this. And then the Primarina, you can just, again, go with the Throat Spray set, with the Hyper Voice, Moonblast, Haze, and of course, Protect. Now, here's the thing. Because you're going Haze over here, you don't need the Clear Smog. You can just go back to Protect over here. And again, now you have 1, 2, 3 Protect users, right? So that's also really, really solid. Technically 4 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, which is really good. So that allows you like more flexibility in terms of how you want to position your mons, because of course you got to go with the 2 Ps, Pivot and Protect. All right, so that is Hyper Beam, right? So I've done that before. Hyper Voice. Okay, so after this, now just for like general EVs, you could just do 252, 252 Chomp like this. Go Jolly set, so this way you can outspeed base 100s. Dragonite over here. Again, lots of different ways that you can technically look at the Dragonite. You can still go max attack here, and then just have a little bit of investment in speed, just be enough where you can outspeed something like a Dragapult, and I think that's good enough as it is. And then after that, you can just dump the rest here into your HP stat. And this works out well because this will give you some optimization against the Tyranitar Sand, because 191 is following the 16N-1 rule in terms of optimizing against Sand Chip damage, right? Then the Talonflame, same thing. Again, Jolly set, just max speed. So this way you can make it come down to a speed tie against some of these other Talonflames. But, just more or less a 252, 252 set. Goldango, another one. Again, you can go super bulky here, or you can go a little bit faster. You can just do something like this, where again, under Tailwind, you outspeed a Dragapult. And then you can just go to the 3rd benchmark here. You can go almost max HP here. Just go up to 189. Follow the rule for Life Orb. Again, just optimize for the factor of 10, and then just drop it by 1 point. So this way you optimize against the Life Orb recoil reduction. If you go 190 like this, you're taking 19 points of damage. If you drop it by 1, you're only taking 18, right? Because 18.9 just rounds down to 18 points of damage. Then after this, you have a little bit of investment that you can consider, 132 points here. So this is going to give you a nice favorable roll against the knockoff from the Tyranitar set, which is really good and beneficial at the end of the day. So you can also think of it like that. Then the Amoonguss over here, you can just, again, do a simple set here. But again, relaxed nature with 0 speed. What I like to do right now with the Amoonguss is just survive the Brave Bird Talonflame stuff. So I just put it right here, 196 investment. That'll do that. That'll live what I needed to live, and then just dump the rest of the leftovers into Spadef like this. Primarina, you know how I like to do my Primarinas. Again, I like to make sure I outspeed Dondozo under the Tailwind, and I still are able to live the Grassy Glide from an Adamant 252 Rillaboom. So that calc looks like this. And I still go to the 2nd bump right here in special attack stat, and then just dump the rest here into Spadef here. And again, if you don't know what EV bumps are, and you're trying to get better at building your teams and trying to get better at playing competitive Pokemon, make sure you comment below asking what are EV bumps. Because again, when you're doing your EV investments, it's always a good idea to start with your bumps before you try and do any kind of damage calcs, because then you can adjust it as you go. But it's always a good practice and straightforward ideas to just go for your bumps, okay? So if you don't know what they are, ask below what are EV bumps, and I will respond to you. Otherwise, we have a whole video that we made based on what are EV bumps. So you can go ahead and find that video from about last month or 2, and then you can just give that a watch. But other than that, these are our bumps over here, right? Especially with the Amoonguss, bypassing that. I already have that here with the Goldango, so you can even just look at it like that. But anyway, so this is a rough general team. You can even just give this a go. So another double Dragon Core that you can consider when you think about it, right? So you got the Primarina Haze for your Dozo matchup and wiping away other debuffs that you have to consider, or even like Swords Dance, King Gambit, Nasty Plot, other users, right? You can wipe those away. Amoonguss gives you the Trick Room matchup. You have the aggression with Chomp and Dragonite. And then you have Tailwind control with your Talonflame over here. And then Goldango also generally also loves the Tailwind support. Also loves the Amoonguss support that you can do to try and set up this Nasty Plot. All right, so another team for you to use. Free knowledge, of course. So yeah, give this one a go. So now let's go into the second double Dragon Core. Okay, next variant I want to look at is Dragapult and Arcalyptus. So the reason why these two can work well together is the fact that Dragapult is a ghost type, and Arkeladin being a steel type at the same time. Why does that matter? Because think about what Arkeladin is pretty weak to right now, besides ground coverage. It's fighting types. So something like Drain Punch or Close Combat, Arkeladin doesn't really want to take that. But if you can time a timely switch, into your Dragapult, then all of a sudden the fighting type attack gets whiffed, because again, you are that ghost type. And again, Dragapult being weak to dark types or fairy types, Arkeladin doesn't really care about that. So you can kind of just switch that into, and then, you know, from here, you can kind of just see the vision in terms of that ghost typing. Imagine Basculegion in this slot, right? So if you have Pelipper over here, okay, normally you would have a Basculegion over here, which is really good in the rain because of the swift swim ability where you can just double your speed. But the Basculegion at times is quite reliant on the rain, especially in the late game as a cleaner. But Dragapult doesn't have to rely on the rain that much. Dragapult is naturally fast as it is. So, you know, it's a little bit more flexible in how you can play it versus the Basculegion. Also, it can't get intimidated, which the Basculegion can. But at the same time, you know, it just also exerts a decent amount of damage. And it's just a pretty good partner overall with Arkeladin. So you can kind of just build around these three from here. And if you take a look at the LabMouse website, you know, there are some teams with Dragapult and Arkeladin, some with Pelipper, some with not. So look at Raphael's team over here from Dortmund. 11-2 result, does not even use the Pelipper. And he's just going simple like Dragapult, Arkeladin with like Sneasel balance stuff, right? So you can do it like this. You almost want something else over here because, you know, I'm looking at this. There's an Electroshock coverage here, but there's no rain. So are we really clicking this? I'd rather see something like Snarl in this case, right? Or even just going for maybe Protect here and then put the Assault Vest over here. I don't know, but just seeing Electroshock here is a little bit weird with no Pelipper, but it's still you know, very, very strong overall. Then you can do like the hyper offensive stuff like this, and we kind of made a rental on this too, where you have the Indeedee and then you have the Psychic Seed, Sneasel, and the Dragapult here. But what's really cool is that you have a Power Herb Arkeladin idea over here. So this one has Protect. It's Electro Shot. This makes more sense, right? Electro Shot, Draco Meteor, and then Flash Cannon. But again, at the same time, you can put Rain Dance over here, but again, Sunny Day just makes more sense because you have the Delphox stuff over here. So you can definitely consider it like this. And what's really cool, again, is you can put pressure against the Dragapult by just going for Sucker Punch, you know, from a Kingambit. But if you just switch in your Indeedee, you can't do that at the end of the day because you have Psychic Terrain denying priority moves. So that's another way that you can do that. This one, again, like we said, the Pelipper, Dragapult, Arkeladin idea. Then you have Palafin stuff here with Incin, Rillaboom. So lots of pivoting in and out, right? And what's really cool about this Dragapult is that this is a special set. So it's Shadow Ball, Draco Meteor, Will-O-Wisp, and Protect. So very interesting in how you can run this. But I like that idea. You know, again, Special Pult is relatively niche, but it can work if you can put it on the right kind of team. All right. Then as we go down here, this is another pretty cool team. Again, Dragapult and Arkeladin. You know, again, just Snarl, Body Press, Dragon Pulse, and Flash Cannon. This is a set that I like if you don't have a Pelipper. And, you know, look at this. Espathra and Indeedee stuff with Sneasel. So, like, almost Sneasel, side spam balance ideas. But the Espathra is actually quite cool on a team like this. All right, so then after this, you know, if we just head back to the team builder ourselves, we can even just build our own Dragapult, Arkeladin idea. So, you know, you have this. And then from here, what I would just do, I would do the Among Us stuff, of course. And, you know, again, now you have the Trick Room matchup. But let's go to the Screens idea. So I do like Grimmsnarl. At the end of the day, I like Screens Arkeladin. And typically, this would also have a Maushold here, as well as an Annihilate, you know, with setup Annihilate stuff. But I wanted to switch out the Annihilate, and let's add Dragapult instead for a little bit more faster aggression and not necessarily relying on beat-up stuff. So this way, now what we can do with this Maushold is just do something like this with Population Bomb instead. So now we can be an aggressive Maushold behind screens, and then just overall, you know, have Arkeladin also behind screens that can do relatively well. So I kind of like this idea. And I didn't want to put Incineroar here because to me, that's a little bit too much fighting weaknesses because you have Arkeladin, Incin, and Maushold weak to the fighting coverage overall. I kind of wanted to just chop that a little bit. So I still like this idea. But from here, again, you can just do like banded sets with the Dragapult here. So let's just go here. Like Choice Band here, Dragon Darts, you know, Phantom Force. And then you have your pivot move in U-turn, of course. And then you can do Outrage here. You can do also Terra Blast, Terra Ghost here. I think this is also quite strong. And then the Archeladon, again, the Assault Vest set, you know, with the standard, you know, for where you have Dragon Pulse here. You can do Dragon Pulse, Draco Meteor. Either way, it's totally fine. So let's do Draco Meteor. Let's do Electro Shot, of course. Then we have the Body Press, and then we have the Flash Cannon. Now, if you want Snarl, you can definitely consider Snarl, but I still like this set, you know, with the Pelipper range stuff, at least on this particular team. Anyway, so there's your grass idea. Then, of course, Pelipper here, you know, bringing out the rain. I still like the Sash set with Tailwind, you know, just for a little bit more speed control. So here we go, Hurricane, Weather Ball, Tailwind support, and then just going for Protect here. You can just do Terra Stellar, you know, for a little bit more damage. Where are you, Stellar? There you are. And then the Amoonguss, more or less the same idea with what we want to do out of it. And I kind of just like my Amoonguss set that we had there, so we can even just, you know, copy paste that and just throw that in there, right? So, and what's also pretty cool is I think what we're gonna have to do is instead of we are gonna have to do the Clear Smog stuff. So I think you know, because we want our Dondozo check still, so I'm still just gonna put Clear Smog here. Then the Grimmsnarl, of course. Now this is what's really cool here. So we're gonna go the Light Clay set, okay, and we are going to go the Spirit Break route. So Light Screen, Reflect, and now this is where you add that tech move of Misty Terrain, right? So we've seen this again pick up as of late, and I kind of want to do a short little video of like common tech moves rising as we head into Dortmund. I'm gonna have to come up with a better title than that, but Misty Terrain is one of those moves. So again, you know, this is great against the Sneasler stuff, the Amoonguss Spore shenanigans. You hate it, you don't like it, you hate Will-O-Wisp too, and Misty Terrain is quite useful against that. Yes, I understand that does reduce your dragon damage, but you know, at the end of the day, who really cares? You don't click this stuff as much as the other stuff, right? And even with Dragapult here, you still have that's Dragon Breath. Oh my goodness, sorry about that. That should be Dragon Darts there. But yeah, but you get what I'm saying here. So I still like this, and if you still don't like Misty Terrain, you can go for Parting Shot, you can go for Thunder Wave if you really want to, you know, play it safe like that. But I do think Misty Terrain is very useful here. And then after this is just standard Mouse Hold Population Bomb set with Follow Me, Taunt, and then just standard Protect over here. Of course, we're gonna go Technician here. We're gonna go Wide Lens, of course, and then we're still going to go with the Terra Ghost typing. Okay, and then for the Grimmsnarl set, you know, honestly, I think you can go like Terra Steel here. I think this is still like okay. You could even do like Terra Poison to resist like the fairy damage. So I think even Poison just works out also. Then the Amoonguss here, I still like the Terra Fairy. That's still like pretty good. Grass and Ghost, right? So yeah, I still like the, you know, again, Terra Blast, Terra Ghost. Yeah, that's still like pretty solid overall, right? So again, you can just do something like this, and now we can just assign some basic EV spreads, you know, for this kind of team. So looking at the Dragapult, again, you can just do like standard 252 stuff, right? So Jolly set, and then the Archeladon. What I really like with Archeladon is you can still survive the Sneasler close combat. That's also an EV spread in our rentals. So it looks something like this, where you're still going modest, but you don't have a whole lot of speed investment, just this much to outspeed another Dragapult under Tailwind. And the investment looks like this, 244, okay, and then 124 defense. This is enough to survive that close combat. And then, of course, you still hit the bump here with 116 attack investment, and then just still get the nice solid even number with the special defense over here, 1 point over there, okay? Pelipper here, you can just do standard 252 stuff. Make it timid, so this way you can see a little bit more speed interactions in the mirror matchup. So if they outspeed you, that means it was a speed tie. The Amoonguss we already established. The Grimmsnarl, again, you can also just do a careful set over here. Again, just relatively standard stuff. Let's go to the bump. 121 investments. And then you can just do maybe 1 or 2 points here in speed. 1 point in the attack stat. And then just pretty much go right about here. 140 investment, and then just dump the rest here into HP, right? So standard set, going to the bump there. Almost all in HP, and then a little bit of defense. I put a little bit of speed here, you know, just for potential mirror matchups. Again, base speed 60, one of the most common speed tiers right now in Regulation A. So many base speed 60s. You know, Primarina, Tyranitar, Incineroar, okay? Hisuian Decidueye, another one. Then you have some 65s for that matter too. So it's always a little tricky with that. Mousel, just go aggressive. Again, just go the Jolly set and just go 252. and nothing else really needs to be said with the mouse here. So again, another one that you can consider, right? So another double dragon core idea. So again, very general EV spreads, but again, it still works. So give this one a go. And now we're gonna go into the next pairing. Okay, Garchomp and Arkeldin is the next kind of duo. So lots of pairings can go well with Garchomp over here. But here's another idea that you can do with Chomp and Arkeldin. So Assault Vest, of course, with Tera Grass here is quite interesting, because now what you can do sometimes is go for the Earthquake next to the Tera Grass Arkeldin. And what that does is now the Arkeldin can resist it. It doesn't do a lot of damage. And you get a defense buff already. And then now you can just buff your own body press by just doing that, right? So you can Earthquake into body press, which can do a lot of damage, right? So I do like this idea. And then you just add Pelipper here. And it makes a lot of sense, because now you can Earthquake next to a Pelipper too. So you have a flying type that you can technically Earthquake next to. And then of course the Tera Grass Arkeldin idea is also very much possible, right? So there's lots of good synergy with these three at the end of the day. And if we just go into Lab Mouse and take a look at what others have done, you can also see that right here. So look at Ryan's team here, which I kind of like. It's pretty standard and straightforward. It makes a lot of sense. You still get the ghost typing in the Basculegion with the Arkeldin, so you can whiff the fighting type attack. Instant Amoonguss, defensive backbone, and here's your weather setter with Pelipper. Great synergy with Garchomp and as well as Arkeldin at the same time. So pretty cool. I like Ryan's team. Makes a lot of sense. Then as you move down here, Daniel, okay, this is what I would do. So no Pelipper. You still have the Chomp, but look at this. It's the Protect set with Power Herb. This is what I want with Electro Shot here if you don't want to use Pelipper stuff. So Power Herb, Electro Shot makes a lot of sense with Protect. Pretty cool. And then after this, look at the, King Gambit just to deter Intimidates. Vivian over here, redirection support, Sleep Powder, Hurricane also pretty strong, and then Incin just comes in and does what Incin does, right? So that's another way to consider looking at it. How about the Poliwrath team, with Garchomp and Arkeldin? That team is so cool, and we actually remade that team. We had a whole video on that, and we just gave that team some basic EV spreads. We kept everything else the same. We didn't change any Terras. We didn't change any moves. All we did was remake the team and assign EV spreads, and that team is so good. Poliwrath that actually does a lot into the meta right now. So you might even see this heading into Louisville. I do like the 6. I think it could do rather well. Okay, but at the end of the day, look at the Snarl set from the Arkeldin, and it's still the Chomp Pelipper stuff. So again, you can even just consider this. Grab this team if you want to try and play Chomp Arkeldin with Pelipper stuff. That's also really solid. There's another one over here from Storm VGC. So look at this, right? It's Chomp, double flying type with Murkrow and the Pelipper. And the Basculegion is still also here, along with Gholdengo too, right? So you can even just do something a little bit more niche like this, and it still works, right? So, again, it's definitely possible as long as you have these three, with Chomp, Pelipper, and Arkeldin. I like these three, and I kind of like, just building around them. So we'll take a page out of Ryan's book, and we'll just, build his 6. And then, this way you could try it yourself too. So what did he have after that? It was the Instant Amoonguss backbone. And then just round it out with the ghost type with Basculegion, just that does a ton of damage in the rain, right? So, just from here, you can do Earthquake, Stomping Tantrum, Dragon Claw, of course, and then Protect at the end of the day. But again, we don't have the Gambit here to deter the Intimidate, so I'm still going to go the Clear Amulet route. And at least this way, I don't do so much damage into my own Arkeldin, and I can go the Rough Skin route, of course. And here we can just go like Terrafire. This is still like pretty good. So you can definitely do stuff like this. And then, standard Arkeldin set. If anything, I kind of just want to copy paste it into what we have over here. So let me just go ahead and grab that one and just do that. Okay, so, just yeet that and just put that right here. That's still pretty good. Same thing with the Amoonguss. Like, I really like that Amoonguss set. I'm really not going to change it. And, I have no reason to. So I'm just going to go ahead and just paste it right here too. Okay, and then now same thing with the Pelipper, same idea. Again, Hurricane, Weather Ball, Tailwind, just copy that, yeet that over here. And then now all we really have to do is just assign a Basculegion set. But Basculegion is very easy to EV, right? So you can just do the Choice Band set. Okay, again, but with Wave Crash, Flip Turn, I press caps, yeah. Then you have Aqua Jet, and then you have the last respects. Aura Sphere, how did that happen? Aqua, there we go. Okay, then, again, I like Tera Grass. Again, just resistance against the Electro Shot damage, against Rillaboom, Grassy Glide, Wood Hammer shenanigans. just go out of nature. If you want, you can definitely just go max like this. But if you want a little bit more bulk, you can just put only enough speed investment to outspeed something like a Dragapult, and then just call it from there. So just do something like this, and this is still like totally fine. So then the Amoonguss, like we said, is still pretty much the same. Chomp, and again, Chomp also same thing. Jolly 252. Make it come down to speed time in the mirror matchup, and then Incin. With Incin, I just like the surviving the Pelipper Tailwind stuff. I'm sorry, Weather Ball. So I still like safety goggles, and I still like fake out, knock off, parting shot, and then you can go taunt here. I do think taunt is quite good. Just to be able to shut down certain things. Of course, Terra Ghost here, and then just go careful nature. Yeah, let's go careful. I always like to go careful. Let's go 196 again. This is for the Pelipper Weather Ball stuff, and then just a little bit of speed. Let's go 36. Right, so this way after Tailwind we outspeed base 100s and a little bit more. So now we have the 6, right? So you could even just try out Ryan's, Ryan 6. Which again we just assigned like basic EV spreads to and just copy pasted a lot of them. So it just makes sense, right? So again, your defensive backbone, you have your cleaners with Basculegion and Arkeladon, and you can get some early game aggression with the Chomp. Pretty good into Sneasers also, because again you are a ground type, which is great into the Sneaser matchup. The Sneaser can outspeed you, but if you have the Pelipper support, then you can outspeed it right back. Okay, I would say these two are like the oldest kind of double dragon pairing. We saw this a lot in Regulation A with the Garchomp Hydreigon pairing, because again, good synergy here where you can just click Earthquake next to Hydreigon, because Hydreigon does have Levitate, so good ideas there. And then you can just kind of round this out with a Tailwind Setter and Gholdengo. And we saw that again from Davide's team from Dortmund. So this was the team. So you had Garchomp, Hydreigon, Tailwind Setter in the Whimsicott, and then Gholdengo over here, right? Then you had the Clefable with the Unaware ability, of course, really, really good. With the Misty Terrain tech, right? So no burns on my Garchomp or any of the Sneasler shenanigans. Then you have the Annihilape as the Defiant user, which is cool because now what you can do is instead of the King Gambit, you opted for the Gholdengo for your Steel type, but you get to still keep Defiant on your team because you have the Annihilape bulk up setup stuff over on this set, right? So you can definitely do something like this with Davide's team. It's really, really good. I like it a lot, and it's Choice Specs Hydreigon too, right? So you have Life Orb, Chomp, and Choice Specs Hydreigon. Huge damage coming out here. So Heat Wave, Snarl, Dark Pulse, Draco Meteor makes a lot of sense. Then you still get the Misty Terrain, Clefable stuff. I think that's quite good. So you can just always use something like this. And historically, this was also strong in Regulation A, where you had the Murkrow Gholdengo stuff. So what we can do is just kind of build like a different variant of something like that uses the same tools. But you can just do this with Talonflame and Gholdengo instead of like Whimsicott Gholdengo. And then just round it out with something like this with Amoonguss as your redirector instead of Clefable. And then you can go a little bit more aggressive with something like Glimmora. I do like Glimmora right now too, especially, setting up poison stuff. And this is a pretty cool idea from Mr. Magical Archer, right? I think it was Jude Lee that did this. I think he had the Rillaboom slot in the Amoonguss idea. So what you can do now is go Terra Steel Chomp, which is still good against fairy stuff. And then also Hydreigon with Terra Steel makes also some sense. Because again, Steel with Levitate is quite nice. You remove your ground weakness and you're only really weak to fire. And now what you can do, because you already have a Steel type in Gholdengo, is now with the Glimmora, you can go with Sludge Wave rather than Sludge Bomb. Because now, again, Sludge damage just doesn't do much. It's neutral. It's 0 damage into poison types, right? So, I'm sorry, into Steel types. So you can just do it like this. And then just round it out. Look, Earthquake, Stomping Tantrum, Dragon Claw, and then Protect. They always keep putting up Dragon Breath over here. So let's just put Dragon Claw over here. Life Orb, again, very standard stuff. Rough Skin also still makes sense. Just do the Jolly set. Nothing really crazy here. And then what you can do with Hydreigon is you can go with an Assault Vest set. I do like AV Hydreigon, where you can just have Dark Pulse, Draco Meteor. You can do Snarl. You can do Heat Wave too. All right. And then the Talonflame here is the same Talonflame set. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna grab it over here, you know, because I always like this Talonflame set. It's just very easily reproducible, right? Then the Goldango, we can go choice specs here. All right. And then just go like Make It Rain, Shadow Ball, you can do Thunderbolt, and then you could just do Trick, right? And then of course, because we are the spec set, we can just do a standard 252 set. I still like Timid just to outspeed the other Goldangos that are modest choice specs. The faster Goldango will usually always win. The Amoonguss, I still like what I'm doing with my Amoonguss over here. Again, with the Clear Smog stuff and with the same EV spread. And then, you know, again, redirecting, you know, dragon type attacks away from my 2 dragons is always going to be important. The Glimmora, so this one also, you know, with the power up set, still good. You know, just Toxic Breed. You can go like Terra Grass here. I think this is still like okay. And then just go, you know, Meteor Beam. You can go Earth Power, then Sludge Wave. Like I said, if you don't like Sludge Wave, you can just totally go like Sludge Bomb. But I wanted to do stuff like just a little bit different. But again, Sludge Wave still works. So again, shout outs to Mr. Magical Archer for the idea. And then of course, just a Spiky Shield stuff. Timid Goldango is still going to be good because you have the edge over a regular Goldango. So Timid Glimmora is also like just straight up good. You get to always outspeed them, especially if you go like a Timid set, right? I think we did everything. All right, so the Hydreigon set, you know, just make sure you have like even numbers like this, and then just round it out. You know, just going by like you could either go like Timid, you could either go modest. Either way, it just depends on what you value out of your Hydreigon. But ultimately, we're gonna look at trying to outspeed the Typhlosion stuff. I think that's always important. Like, I don't want to be taking the Eruption and then KOing. I want to outspeed it and then make sure it doesn't go for that Eruption stuff. So that being said, I think just going max speed here is just going to be good. Then we have 12 points here for the Assault Vest set, and then just put the remaining points in special attack like this. That's really all you need out of your Hydreigon in terms of that kind of set. You don't really need too much bulk. You can if you want, but I just think having the speed for the Typhlosion is just going to be very important. All right. So again, another very general, like look how easy it is, you know, just to slap on some general spreads here. But, you know, we're just following some basic conventions at the end of the day because we already know what kind of outspeeds what. You could easily put like Tyranitar on a team like this. That has been used before. But Hydreigon also just works at the end of the day, right? Instead of Tyranitar, you're a special attacker that doesn't get intimidated. You can snarl stuff for damage mitigation. You have Will-O-Wisp for physical damage mitigation. You still get Taunt here. You have redirection support. You have the aggression with the Goldango, and just Glimmora as a lead is just very, very strong, right? So you can think of it like this. So yeah, this is another pair that works. So give it a go and let's see what you do. All right, last pairing that I also want to look at is the Salamence Arkeladon pairing. So you may have seen this before, but they have pretty good synergy with each other. Again, just consider what Arkeladon is weak to. You're weak to fighting moves, and you're weak to ground moves. So you have a flying pivot into Salamence, so the ground move gets Swift, and then you get to resist the fighting move also because Salamence is a flying type, right? So, and then with Salamence being weak to ice and being weak to dragons, and even fairies for that matter, Arkeladon can kind of take all those attacks relatively decently, and then you get to boost it up with the Assault Vest because now you're just giving it a stamina boost at the end of the day. So, besides that, you do have Intimidate support from the Salamence, and the Arkeladon has the Assault Vest, right? So you're supporting this core, you know, just with the physical end of the idea, and then also the special attack reduction with the Assault Vest. So now the Arkeladon is pretty tough to remove, and now you don't need Amoonguss. I'm sorry, you don't need Incineroar anymore. So, well, not that you don't need Incineroar anymore, but you can still do stuff like Amoonguss over here, and then you can still have the Pelipper, you know, just rounding out this core, right? And then from here, you know, you can just do the typical standard stuff with Kingambit, and then, of course, with the Basculegion. This is something that has been done already. You know, this was our rental back in September, but it still works, right? Because, you know, your Salamence on this type of team is a Life Orb Tailwind support, which does special attack damage because of Hurricane, right? So you could just think of it like that. And then the Basculegion doesn't want to be intimidated, right? So you can add the Kingambit support. And again, you have 2 fighting weaknesses here, which get whiffed by the Basculegion, and then you also have resistance from the Salamence and the Amoonguss. So that's why this 6 still works even right now. So you can just, you know, think of it like that in that sense. But again, a lot of this is just relatively copy paste, you know, just in terms of what we built already. But with the Salamence, Again, just Hurricane, Draco Meteor, Tailwind, and then just Protect over here. You can just look at it like that. If you want, you can also just go like Air Slash. If you're afraid of just like, trying to use Hurricane outside of the Hurricane. But, for me, I want to take advantage, so I like Hurricane. And then just go like a Timid 252, 252 set. Just get the most amount of damage as possible. Again, the Arkeladon, we're just going to grab our standard set, just living the close combat from the Sneasler. Same thing with the Amoonguss. Again, a lot of these cores, with the Pelipper, Amoonguss, Arkeladon, very easy to slap on to a lot of different teams. And then, here's our Pelipper again with also Tailwind support. Now, here's the thing that I like, that I value here, because, you can get Tailwind out of your Pelipper, but at the end of the day, I do have Tailwind from Salamence. I want to get some Wide Guard going. Okay, Expanding Force, Eruption stuff, Heat Wave, I kind of want to shut all of that down and just go for Wide Guard support. Then the Kingambit here. So, Black Glasses support, obviously. Then you have the Terra Dark option, with Kowtow Cleave does a lot of damage, Sucker Punch, Swords Dance, and then just Protect. And then, another standard, 252 set, where you're just going Adamant Nature, a little bit of speed, for the mirror matchups, but, nothing too crazy, just dumping the rest into the HP stat. And then the Basculegion, we kind of also just mentioned this already, where you can just go the simple set. I think I had it over here. I don't remember. Here it is. So you can even just copy this, or you can go for a little bit more bulk out of your Basculegion. If you really want to. This again is just meant to outspeed the Dragapult under the Tailwind stuff, so you can just look at it like that. Otherwise, you can just make this a little bit faster and then just drop your HP a little bit. But I still like a bulkier Basculegion set, so I still like this at the end of the day, right? And then this looks like our September rental. That's because it is. The only difference is our Arkeladon set, as well as our Amoonguss Terra option. But I still like this just in terms of what we want out of our Salamence Arkeladon stuff. So you don't really need to reinvent the wheel. Like, this 6 will still work. And if you look on Lab Mouse, you can more or less see the same ideas. You can see some other stuff. Like, I still like what Blake had over here from Baltimore, where you still had the Pelipper, Salamence Arkeladon core with the Goldango. But going for a Rillaboom War with the Amoonguss is interesting. And then you still have Quaquaval here with the Moxie set, just doing so much damage in the rain. Another fighting type that can also give you some good value if you really use it well. This one also uses the Maushold Population Bomb set, just over the Kingambit idea, which is still like okay, right? Just more or less the same stuff. Now you're just more aggressive with the Maushold, and you still have your Amoonguss Terra Dark idea, to sit in front of the Psy Spam stuff. So you can even just play like that if you want, still like okay. And then, just some other cores that still utilize more or less the same 4 or 5 months, just, alternating those last 2 slots, which is still fine because, again, it just all depends on how you want to play the team. But overall, I think that this is just a standard way of playing that 6, right? So again, we'll just throw this in there. But yeah, now what I want to do is actually show you triple dragons, right? Because triple dragons can also work. Okay, so what would be some triple dragon core teams that would work right now? So take a look at this. This is basically the team that we just showed you. The only difference here is that we're adding Dragapult into the Basculegion slot, right? And it makes a lot of sense because, like we mentioned earlier, Basculegion does rely a little bit on the rain, but Dragapult doesn't really care about the rain. It can function on its own, which is great. It's more flexible in certain matchups, which means you could do a lot more with the Pult. And again, like we said earlier, you have, Kingambit and Arkeladon here. 2 Pokemon that are weak to fighting, right? If you can just switch in your Dragapult, then you can do relatively well. They can whiff the fighting move. Salamence too, right? So you have 1, 2 fighting resist, and then you have, fighting immunity with the Dragapult over here. And again, Dragapult, unlike Basculegion, cannot get intimidated. So that's really good just in terms of an advantage. So you could just think of it like that. So this kind of triple dragon core can still work relatively well. Then if you look at this team here from Sant VGC, this one's a little bit more interesting, right? So you can still do Garchomp Dragonite, and then you can also add Arkeladon here too. Now, the one thing that I am looking at is, again, we do have the Electroshot here with the Assault Vest. I think we can, make an adjustment here. I think we can get just, like, if you want to do this is still fine, but if we don't have the Pelipper, I would just go Power Herb here over the, with Protect, if you still want to do the Electroshock stuff on the Arkeladon. So that would be like the one change here, because other than that, this was still like a very, very good team. Like Tailwind, Dragonite, multi-scale makes a lot of sense. So, you can still like do Earthquake stuff next to D-Knight. You can do Earthquake stuff, even next to Arkeladon. It is Terra Fairy. If you want to go Terra Grass, I still think that's also quite good. Look at this Maushold set here. It is Population Bomb, but not Technician. It is Friend Guard here. So you're getting the best of both worlds here in that sense. So your Population Bomb is not doing as much damage, but you get to make your entire team bulkier with the Friend Guard idea. So that's still like okay. And don't forget, you can still Population Bomb your own Arkeladon just to give yourself like max defense +6 and then just go for like the biggest body press ever. So you can just do that. And then of course Primarina, Citrus Berry, Gholdengo, Medical set. So like this is still like relatively standard. So I do like this team. I would just make those that one change here with the Arkeladon is I would just go the Power Herb set with Protect. But that's just me, right? Because how can I click Electroshock with the ESLFS? I guess you can kind of just go for these pin slots, but for me, that's what I would do. And we did make that kind of change, and we did build this team for someone during coaching. So if you want like the full EV spread of this with the change that I just mentioned, DM me on Discord, and then I will give you the pace, because the viewer did say they wanted to keep it a little bit private for now. They were going to use it in a tour. So if you still want the team, just message me and I will give it to you. But again, just 2 types of squads that you can definitely pull off with triple Dragon cores. All right, so that's it. So hopefully you understand now the benefits of double Dragon cores. So again, we just made you 5 free teams. So here's the Garchomp Dragonite idea that you can take a look at, as well as the one that we had in our rental. So just go back a couple videos and grab that one too. But this is just another kind of squad that you can do, that you can try out if you want to experiment a little bit. This one is Dragapult Arkeladon with Screens Maushold stuff. So consider that. And then this one is Garchomp Arkeladon with Pelipper stuff with Basculegion also. So you can just think of it that way. And then even this one, right, with Hydreigon, Garchomp, Talonflame, Gholdengo, Amoonguss, Glimmora ideas. Couple Terra Steel ideas with Sludge Wave, Glimmora. So you can definitely consider that. And then this one, of course, is our September rental. The only adjustment is we changed the Arkeladon EV spreads to survive not the Blood Moon Earth Power stuff, but the Sinistcha, the Sneasler close combat stuff. So hopefully you try out one of these. And if you're going to, Louisville and you're considering a team, or if you need help with the team, pick one of these, right? And try it out. If you look in the video description below, we'll make them available. But if you still need some last minute coaching going into Louisville, make sure you book your session with me before it's too late. So again, you can reach out on Discord, but it's a tier 3 sub to the channel. Look in the video description below, as well as the pinned comment section. Tier 3 gets you that one-on-one team building with me. So book fast. We do have some open slots available, but yeah, time is running out if you are going to Louisville. But anyway, enjoy the teams, try them out. And again, make sure you subscribe. We're getting closer to 10K, right? So that is our big goal, right? We're trying to get to 10K before the year ends. Join the Discord. It's free to join the Discord. So make sure you do that. If you haven't done so already, you get to interact with everyone else within our community. We already passed 1,000 members in our Discord a couple weeks ago, which is really, really cool and amazing if you think about it. All right, but anyway, enough of me rambling. But yeah, enjoy the double Dragon teams. We'll be back with another video in the next one. Peace out and have a good one.